Hey gamers, welcome back yet to another review. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Razer Synosa V2 keyboard, a keyboard that I've been using for the past 6 months. So the keyboard is $60. And before we get right into it, I did an unboxing video. I'll put the link at the top corner so that you can go and watch the video and see what this keyboard comes with. And before I continue, hey, just subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on reviews like this in future, and like this video. So let's get started. So we are going to start with the keyboard size. So this keyboard is a full keyboard. It is 460 millimeters long, 65 millimeters wide, and 25 millimeters thick. It has a large design and it takes a good amount of desk space. So the second bit you're going to talk about is the build for this keyboard. The keyboard is completely plastic, very basic plastic, and there's no metal, no fancy metal that has been used to make this keyboard. It is not also rigid. There is some movement when you press it completely, but that doesn't affect your gaming, and you would hardly notice while playing a game. So at the bottom of this keyboard, there is some anti-slip pads and two different levels of title adjustment, which is great, though I have never used them. The USB cable is plain and basic, and it's not detachable, but there is a root option that allows you to adjust the cable height according to your setup. So if your setup is in the left, you'll go through this route. If your setup is in the middle, you'll leave it like this. My setup is at the middle, so I never use the route for the wire. So I just hold the wire to make it shorter, and then just put it on the middle to enter my laptop. So this keyboard is membrane. It uses the old, cheaper style of making keyboards. All the keys in this keyboard are fully programmable. They have 100 Hz pulling rate and a spill resistance. So when I talk about fully programmable, let's go to the Razer Synapse. I explain to you what that means. So when we talk about fully programmable keyboard, this is what we mean. So I'm at the Razer Synapse app, and this is my keyboard, the Razer Synosa V2. So clicking on it, we come to customize, and you can just make a new profile maybe, and import or duplicate or rename to whatever you like. Maybe I'll say Willow because I like the name. When you come, you see this is we can use maybe Q. The default key is Q. You can change, you can say maybe you want to change this, and you bind the key to another. Then you remember when I told you like the macro. So there is macro 1 and macro 2. So macro 1 is like I told you when you say WASD, or macro 2. So you can bind that configuration to just one key. So that's what you come to do when you are at macro key. So for example, I've clicked FN9 and then WASD. Then maybe I press enter, and then I remove the setting. So you see, you can't see, of course. So it has saved that that thing. So yeah, that's what it means by fully programmable. Like you can change each key to do a specific task that you want. you can go to the Chroma Studio, and maybe if you queue, you can change it to a specific color. So can click on queue, then check on the colors, then you say I want my queue to be only maybe blue, so yeah, blue, and then come and click E, and then you say you want the color to be green. Is a bit different, so you say your color, you want it to be green. You can fully customize your keys like that. I will also test the spill resistance for this keyboard, so I'm going to pour some water on my keyboard and see how this will affect the keyboard, so that you can see if the water will affect my keyboard immediately, or I'll have to wipe the water from my keyboard so that it functions. I am now going to test the spill resistance. I'll pour some water on the keyboard and just check if it gets poured, the keys are working, it doesn't shut down immediately. And so I'll just open Word and then type a bit, some words, some letters, so that you can see, like, when it spills over the keyboard some water or some liquid, it doesn't affect anything, like it doesn't affect your work progress. You don't have to wipe the keyboard first before you actually play your game or continue doing what you do. So you see, like, I'm typing and it's working. So let me just type something that makes sense. Maybe my mother is, yeah. So let me finish typing, and when you can see, like, it's clear, it doesn't affect anything. So the spill resistant is actually okay in this keyboard. The key presses on this keyboard are different from the mechanical keyboard. The clicking these keys are more quiet and more softer than the mechanical keyboard. So we are going to do a test on that also, how quiet is the keyboard and how loud or how soft typing on this keyboard is. So the keyboard has extra features. We have the skip volume up and skip volume down, and when I talk about volume, I'm sure you know what the function is. When you're listening to something, maybe Spotify, and you want to increase the volume, there are keys here that are readily accessible for you to use. Then we have the macro recording key. This is at the F9. You click Fn, then you click on F9, so that the macro recording can start. And the use of this feature is just to record the typing. Like, if you are using keys frequently, they record the keys that you use, so that in future, when you want to do a similar task, instead of clicking all the keys, you just bind the recording to one key. So for example, you have been clicking WASD, the next time you can bind that action to A, so that when you don't want to click WASD, you just click A. We have the game mode, and this key is F10. Again, you click Fn and plus 10, and when you're in game mode, it disables keys like Windows, so that you don't accidentally click on Windows when you're playing. That basically helps you while in game. And also they can disable features like Alt Tab. You can go to the Razer Synapse and disable that when you're in game mode. It all depends on your preference, what affects you while playing in game. Also have the keys for the light adjustment, and this is F11 and F12. F11 reduces the light of the keyboard, and F12 increases the light brightness of the keyboard. So you have to click Fn and F11 or F12 to reduce or increase the brightness of the keyboard light. Then finally we have the light indicators, and this is the caps lock, num lock, and scroll lock. So if you click them, they light. So I've talked about the keyboard. Now let us come to the downside of this keyboard. The first thing is the keyboard has a lot of spaces in between that accumulate a lot of dust, a lot of dirt. My hair sometimes goes in, and it actually just pisses me off, and I clean it from time to time. This thing is really annoys me. That's one of the things that actually annoys me about this keyboard. The spaces between the letters are so large, and they allow a lot of dirt, a lot of things to pass through them, and in turn it annoys me. The keyboard also doesn't have a rest, so it's just like that, and you just play like that. You don't have something to comfort your hands while playing. The keyboard is membrane, and yeah, that's a downside, because if you're a competitive gamer, you need a mechanical keyboard, because the mechanical keyboard is precise. You don't want to make mistakes while playing, and the mechanical keyboard is good for that. The reaction time for the keyboard is better than the membrane keyboard. But if you're just a casual gamer, then you wouldn't mind using a membrane keyboard while playing, because time and crucial, and mistakes are not that crucial to you when you're playing compared to a competitive gamer. Another downside is $60 is a bit high for this keyboard. Maybe Razer might have priced the keyboard at that point, because the keyboard is has a lot of features compared to other membrane keyboards that are cheaper. You can see the fully programmable features. The Razer Synapse allows you to play around with the light of the keyboard, but then again, I feel like you can get cheaper membrane keyboard. This was a bit high-end. So that was the Razer Synosa V2. If you liked the keyboard, there is a link for purchasing this keyboard in the description below. Just go and purchase this keyboard. And also, if you don't want the keyboard, you can just go to the link and search for the keyboard that you want and purchase it through the link. You'll get other keyboards for you to purchase. I hope you liked the video, and kindly if you have any comments about the Razer Synosa V2, your experience with the keyboard, you can just comment in the section down below. Maybe it was terrible for you, maybe it's good for you. Just let the people know, so that when they are going to purchase, they can keep that in mind. So that has been Dakwilo. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on future videos like this, and also like this video. I believe it has been a good video, and let me catch you in the next video, in the next review video. Keep gaming, keep it Dakwilo.